you didn't tell me you were gonna stop by. You ever heard of knocking? You've caught me making my Christmas list for the holidays. Don't worry about what's in it. That doesn't matter. It's a secret, you could say. A secret? Yeah. You know, Christmas is the perfect time to come together with your friends and family to talk about your deepest, darkest secrets. And that's what I'm planning on doing tonight, everybody. I'm going to divulge to you my deepest, darkest secrets, but only about Disneyland, okay? Specifically about the holidays at Disneyland and Disney World, okay? Nothing beyond that. Let's go to the desk. Oh, okay, and now, what better place to start than on Main Street, USA at Disneyland in Anaheim, California. And you know, one of the main things that catches my eyes as soon as I walk onto Main Street, USA during the holiday season, it's the beautiful Christmas trees they have on display. The one on Main Street specifically, it's huge. The one at Walt Disney World, of course, is bigger, but this one is more impressive to me because, as we'll soon find out, it has a very long and storied history, beginning all the way back when the park first opened, the opening year, 1955. Okay, that's gonna get annoying. The holiday season at Disneyland began... We done? Alright, as I mentioned, the holiday season at Disneyland began opening year, 1955. The festivities were in full swing. Walt wasn't skipping a beat when it came to Christmas. Now, the tree that is currently on your screen right now was actually a real tree when the parks first opened, all the way up until about the year 2004. That's not the fact, though. That's just a little freebie from me. No, what's really interesting is what adorns the tree. The town square Christmas tree is exactly 60 feet tall, which puts it at just 17 feet shorter than Sleeping Beauty Castle down the road a little bit there at the end of Main Street. That is also not the fact that I am trying to tell you. In keeping with the theme of Main Street, USA, the land around it, the Christmas tree is adorned with nearly 1,800 Victorian-themed Christmas decorations. Now here's footage of my own Christmas tree for context. I don't know if anybody's family does this, but back in the Victorian days, they would actually put Christmas cards up onto the tree as ornaments, which is why you can see them here in this photo. It was because around this time, thanks to new printing techniques, it was possible to mass produce these Christmas cards in color as opposed to just black and white. And entering the 1870s, you would be able to send a card from one side of the country to the other for just half a penny. That's 0.5 cents. Half a penny, that's stupid cheap. So as you walk past this tree on your way to Space Mountain, or preferably the Haunted Mansion, remember, it's not just a gorgeously decorated Christmas tree. It is also the most highly themed and appropriate Christmas tree for its respective land. At least Christmas trees that we've talked about so far. So good, we've made our way into Disneyland. We've arrived at Main Street, USA. Where are we gonna go next for number 2 on this list? Well, we are going to turn our butts right around, do a 180, and walk right back out of those turnstiles down into downtown Disney or into California Adventure into the Grand Californian, because the Grand Californian, like many Disney hotels, does itself up for the holidays. But there's one special thing at the Grand Californian that I think bears mentioning. See, the Grand Californian, aside from serving delicious Mickey Mouse gingerbread cookies, also is the only Disneyland resort hotel to have a tiny little version of itself built inside of itself made out of gingerbread. Allow me to explain. Yeah, you know, Haunted Mansion Holiday isn't the only place at the Disneyland Resort where you can find a giant gingerbread house, although it is the spookiest. The Grand Gingerbreadian is made every single year for the holidays, and the decorations around the hotel will sometimes differ with different scenes. The year I was visiting, there was a Snow Mickey, and Chip and Dale were decorating the Christmas tree. It was real cute. It was a great time. And you'll see here shortly there is a sign to the right of the gingerbread house, or behind it, depending on which side you're viewing it from, that describes the process and the amount of ingredients that go into this giant Grand Gingerbreadian. As you can see here, nearly 600 pounds of gingerbread and 600 pounds of powdered sugar go into the making of this display. That's nearly 1,200 pounds. Actually, that's 1,200 pounds. Now, as I said, some of the details will change year to year, and this year's 2023's seems to have the theme of snacks. It's just absolutely covered in scones and macarons and cookies and pretzels, a lot of food that I would like to eat, but unfortunately I would probably get arrested and trespassed from Disney property if I did. This fact brings us over to Walt Disney World, where once again we're going to be talking about the icon trees, the big mainstay trees that are huge and draw a sense of awe when you look at them, like Main Street, or like this one at the Polynesian Village Resort. Now, while it may be impressive and it may have pineapples on it, thus making it the best icon tree at Walt Disney World, it is not the biggest. And it may shock you to learn that neither is the tree on Main Street at the Magic Kingdom. It's actually bigger than Disneyland's, but still not the tallest. Believe it or not, you will actually find the tallest tree at Disney's Contemporary Resort that stands an amazing 70 feet tall. That's 5 feet taller than the one on Main Street. Now this one is especially impressive because it weighs more than 33,000 pounds and it has 16,000 lights and 1,200 individual branches. And let me tell you, I didn't film it because I was just doing other stuff at the time, but standing underneath this Christmas tree, just standing right next to it, it's almost imposing. It almost gives you a sense of like vertigo as you look up and up and up toward the star. It's insane. Bonus points, inside the Contemporary, just past the gift shop, past Chef Mickey's, you will find another Gingerbread House. Pretty good. It's a pretty good one. Still not as spooky as the Haunted Mansion Holiday one. Who is Von Ginger? Remember that? Now quickly, we have to go back to Disneyland's version of the Haunted Mansion, specifically Haunted Mansion Holiday, because I was thinking to myself the other day, it's dangerous, I know, but I was thinking to myself, and I had a thought about Haunted Mansion Holiday and the Hatbox Ghost at the Magic Kingdom's version of the Haunted Mansion. Now, if you recall, recently they put the Hatbox Ghost in Magic Kingdom's Haunted Mansion before the Grand Hall scene, before the dance floor scene, you know, where all the ghosts are boogieing down in reverse. And everybody, including myself, admittedly, was kind of freaking out about it because story-wise, in the story of the Haunted Mansion, you don't see any physical ghosts before they materialize when you get to the Grand Hall. You see, sure, the zombie in the casket is the closest thing, but they're all invisible. They're all sort of spirits in the wind. You don't see them physically, but you see Zero. Zero's in the hallway. Now, sure, it's not the original Haunted Mansion, it's an overlay, so the story is different, but the ghost host still does mention in this version of the ride that the spirits have materialized when you enter the Grand Hall. All at once happy haunts did materialize, like a nightmarish painting by Currier and Ives. Ringing any bells? Am I ringing any bells here? Side note, that the Grand Hall, the ballroom music just goes crazy. It goes absolutely insane. I love it. But yeah, the spirits do materialize before the Grand Hall. Or do they? Because Zero is a character from The Nightmare Before Christmas. He's visiting the mansion. Maybe he's not, you know, up to date with the rules. That's really the only excuse I can think of because, you know, all the other Haunted Mansion ghosts, the ones that are there year round, they still do not appear in their full entirety until the Grand Hall scene. You don't see the Duelists or the Wraith or Victor Geist, the organ player, until you reach the Grand Hall. So maybe Zero just needs to do a little bit of catch up. He just needs to learn the rules. You're not supposed to materialize before the ballroom, Zero. It's the house rules here, Zero. You gotta respect him. The Hatbox Ghost broke him and now everyone hates him for it. The video that you see right now is supplied by Disney. They go crazy during the holidays, okay? The decorations are insane, almost as insane as Halloween, and I really like Halloween. Fact number 5 about the holiday season at the Disney parks has to do with the amount of work that Disney puts in to decorating. They begin putting up decorations immediately after Halloween, the night it closes on October 31st, and continue all the way through Thanksgiving. Although if you were to ask me, looking around in like mid-November, the Disney parks, it looks like they're pretty much done. Now keep in mind, these are dates and numbers reported by Disney themselves. It's so crazy the amount of work and prep needed that they have an entire team dedicated solely to getting the parks in the Christmas spirit called the Holiday Service Team. It consists of 50 year-round cast members and 90 seasonal cast members. All of that adding up, it's a lot of math this episode, to 140 cast members responsible for getting all of Walt Disney World ready for the holidays. These, however, were the numbers last year. The team could have grown or shrunk since then. That includes the 29 icon trees we talked about before, the 596 regular-sized Christmas trees, and when all is said and done, in total, over 400,000 individual pieces of decor across 780 locations at 41 properties. The article doesn't make it clear whether those are different holiday service teams or just the 140 that they use for Walt Disney World, although I'm guessing it's the first one, because 140 people, all right, you're going to this Disney cruise ship, you're going to Disneyland, you're going to Walt Disney World, you are going to Tokyo, and you, my friend, are going to Paris. Just makes a whole lot less sense to me, if you ask me personally. 140 people traveling the globe to spread holiday cheer only at Disney parks. Well, everyone, we're here. We're halfway through the video-ish, and I haven't talked about it yet. Are you proud of me? I still haven't talked about the star on top of the Matterhorn. I have to talk about it now at this point. You're all familiar with the Matterhorn bobsleds, right? Snowy Mountain, Yeti in there, breaks your back every time you ride it. That Matterhorn. It used to have a holiday overlay. The very first holiday overlay, you could say, and it wasn't to the inside. There was a star. There was a star. There was a star on top of the Matterhorn. Throwing it all the way back to 1955, yes, you had the live Christmas tree on Main Street, USA, the garlands decorating all the lands throughout the park. Probably not Tomorrowland. But you didn't really have anything in the way of ride overlays, right? Haunted Mansion wasn't built until 1969. Haunted Mansion Holiday wouldn't open until 2001. It's a Small World wouldn't debut until the World's Fair in 1964, and Small World Holiday wouldn't debut until 1997. Holiday overlays weren't really a thing, but does this count? I'm gonna say yes. Now this is a shot of a different star from later on, this is in the 60s now, but you can see it glowed at night, giving the entire park a cozy atmosphere. Well, I guess cozier atmosphere. But me counting this as one of the first holiday overlays opens an entirely different can of worms, like they decorate the castle for Christmas every year since opening year 1955. But okay, it didn't get the walkthrough until 1957. That's still a good 4-ish years before the Matterhorn, thus making it an attraction that has the outside decorated for the holidays. So is that a holiday overlay? Maybe? Or does it strictly have to affect the internal show scenes and the external decoration? Haunted Mansion Holiday, Jingle Cruise, It's a Small World, those all fall into that category. I'm gonna leave it ultimately up to you to decide what the first holiday overlay was. I mean, the Country Bears Christmas Special was 1984, and before that even, the Monsanto House of the Future was wrapped up like a present during the holidays, so does that count? But I feel like them decorating the Matterhorn with this star is them sort of dipping their toe into attraction overlays for the very first time in Disneyland's history, and I think it's cool they did it while Walt was still alive. That just means we could have seen Mr. Toad's Wild Ride Holiday Adventure under Walt Disney's tutelage, but I guess not. I guess it was just never meant to be. Instead of dying and going to hell, we die, we get hit by the train, and we go to the North Pole, and we become Santa's little helpers. Just imagine. Back to Walt Disney World again for what I think is the coolest icon tree to have ever existed at any of the Disney parks at any time that is sadly no longer with us. That's right, the Polynesian tree is the best currently, but it is not the best overall. No, instead we are going to another Magic Kingdom Resort hotel, the Contemporary, but not the outside one we were talking about before. We are going inside to the Grand Canyon Concourse to take a look at the coolest Disney Christmas tree that no longer is. Now, Walt Disney World opened in October of 1971, October 1st to be more precise, but it's basically 2 months before the entirety of the holiday season begins to kick off. Or at least a little earlier if you're some people who made that video. And yes, when December rolled around, it was decorated just like Disneyland with that real Christmas tree. But over at the Contemporary, the Hotel of the Future, things were going to be going down a little bit differently. We'd be celebrating the Christmas of the future over there. And according to this picture, the Christmas of the future entailed a 6-story tall tinsel Christmas tree. That's right, it's entirely tinsel. There's no leaves here, no branches, no pine needles, nothing. This is the coolest icon tree I could possibly imagine, and I think it's especially fitting for the Contemporary. Just imagine at night, if they were to shine some lights on it, how it would reflect that light back out onto the Grand Canyon Concourse. It's all just so amazing, and if you're wondering what it looked like in color, here is a photograph from 1988 showing the green tinsel. I'm not sure if the tinsel when it opened in 71 was green or silver, but either way, it doesn't really matter to me what color it is. It's amazing. It's so unique. It's such a unique take on a Christmas tree that is quintessentially contemporary resort. It exudes 70s Disney World. Of course, as the years passed, they removed the hideous, beautiful tinsel tree and replaced it with the bigger one outside. This is footage of the Grand Canyon Concourse in December. Nowadays, it is just completely empty. It's missing that contemporary touch. It's missing a giant, reflective disco ball Christmas tree. All of that being said, I definitely do love a good gingerbread cookie. Gingerbread cookies are the reason for the season for me. These aren't gingerbread, but they are cookies. And they're pretty good. If you can't tell, I talked about gingerbread for a couple of the past entries on this list, and we're talking about it again for number 8. Back to Walt Disney World. It's down here. I absolutely love Disney's Grand Floridian Hotel. I've stayed there twice in my life, and both times it was absolutely wonderful. See, look, there's a little tiny version of me. And I think what really makes this resort grand, besides its sprawling size and towering height, is its wonderful grand lobby. Which, yes, of course, everybody, yes, they do decorate for the holidays. That features a one-of-a-kind, at the Disney theme parks at least, gingerbread house that doubles as a shop that sells gingerbread. You're eating what the house is made out of. It's like every German fairy tale dream. And this is one of my biggest regrets. Over the years, I film a lot of Disney Parks content, but some of it just falls through the cracks, you know? I can't come up with the footage. And I filmed the heck out of this gingerbread house back in like 2017, and I filmed the food inside and all the details on the shingles, and it's all gone now. So we have to rely on Disney for this footage. Just the sheer size of this gingerbread house puts all of the other gingerbread houses to shame. Yes, even you, Von Ginger. This gingerbread is huge, obviously because it has to be human-sized. It has to accommodate the workers selling the gingerbread inside of the gingerbread house. It's mind-boggling. It's like Inception, but with pastry dough. They use an authentic Austrian gingerbread recipe for the actual shingles and the house itself, and over 700 pounds of chocolate. That's almost enough to make me hate chocolate. And the best part about this is you can see the shingles on the roof of the gingerbread house. You can buy actual gingerbread shingles, not from the top of the house. They're made separately, but I just think that's a nice little touch. So yeah, while the Haunted Mansion Holiday Gingerbread House is impressive every single year, you have not lived, my friends, until you've seen the Grand Floridian Gingerbread House and bought yourself one of the tasty gingerbread shingles while you're there. It wasn't down there. I thought it was. I thought Walt Disney World was down there. It's not. So I guess we could move along to the second best Disney park to have ever been opened and still operates today, obviously, Epcot. To the Festival of the Holidays. I mean, obviously, look at my sweater. What else do you think we're going to talk about? The Epcot International Festival of the Holidays, previously known as Epcot Holidays Around the World. I like what we have now better. Now, Festival of the Holidays is right up there with Festival of the Arts as one of my favorite festivals at Epcot. Eat it, food and wine, literally. Now, yes, like with all of the other festivals, the food might be delicious and the ride overlays may be even better. I'm looking at you living with the land. I want to talk about the storytellers. And no, I'm not talking about storytellers. I'm talking about the storytellers. While you are able to sample special holiday food and drink from around the world, you are also able to hear the stories of these holidays from around the world from special storytellers stationed throughout the World Showcase. Like this Hanukkah storyteller telling the story of Hanukkah, obviously, what else would he be doing? Or these three wise men weaving their tale about the very first Christmas all those years ago. The Festival of the Holidays over at Epcot is, dare I say it, more than just living with the land overlays. Although, to be clear, living with the land overlays are a very, very big part of it. It's also a wonderful time to learn about cultures around the world like you normally would at Epcot, but with that fun holiday twist. Like La Befana over at Italy. No, Santa Claus doesn't deliver Italian presents, he gets La Befana to do it. And honestly, you know, she seems pretty cool. Now, this all began back in 1996 with the first Festival of the Holidays, Holidays Around the World, and I believe has been going ever since. If you go on the app right now, odds are you can find some storytellers and showtimes for when they're going to go tell their tale. Keeping that edutainment spirit of the original Epcot alive and well to this day, another reason why Epcot is one of my favorite Disney parks. It is changing, yeah, sure, but it also hasn't lost a lot of what made the original park and what makes the park today so unique. The storytellers. And living with the land glimmering greenhouse. Now for number 10 on the list, we are going to Hollywood Studios, and I'm not going to tell you just one fact. I'm going to tell you an entire story about one family, a dream, and a bunch, and believe me when I say this, a bunch of light bulbs. Our story begins in Little Rock, Arkansas with Jennings and Mitzi Osborne, who in 1968 founded the Arkansas Research Medical Testing Center, which is no longer in operation today. But, you know, being the founder of a medical center meant they came into an absolute truckload of money. And that allowed them to purchase a large estate in the middle of town in 1976. And in 1986, they welcomed their daughter Allison to the family, nicknamed Breezy. And when Allison was 6 years old, she asked her dad, "Dad, why don't we decorate the house for Christmas? Obviously, we gotta get some lights up on this house. It's a drab around the holidays. We gotta get it glowing. That was me paraphrasing. She probably said something along those lines though. And Jennings agreed, stringing some lights over their house and decorating it for the holidays. And then the next year, they got a few more lights. And the next year, they got a couple more. And the next year, they got a couple more, and so on and so on. And the display began to grow and grow each year until it became a one-of-a-kind, impressive light spectacle. And by 1993, the display had grown to over 3 million lights, including an illuminated globe, 2 rotating carousels, a 70-foot tall Christmas tree, and a canopy of 30,000 red lights, according to the original audio spiel they played at, spoiler alert, Hollywood Studios. Now, obviously, with the amount of lights glowing late on into the night and the amount of people coming through the street to see it, the neighbors weren't too happy and decided to sue because of all the street congestion and how late these lights were going. They usually went to about midnight every night. And in response to this lawsuit, Jennings added 3 million more lights. And after a few trips up and down the courts, eventually in 1995, the State Supreme Court of Arkansas shut down the display altogether. Now, of course, this legal light spectacular had caught attention all over the nation, namely from one little resort down in Orlando, Florida, who called Jennings and offered to move his display from Little Rock all the way to Residential Street at Disney's Hollywood Studios, or MGM Studios back then. Initially, though, funnily, when Jennings first got the call from Disney, they said they'd put it on Residential Street at MGM Studios. What Jennings heard was they would put it on a residential street in Orlando, just a random residential street. When all of that confusion was cleared up, Jennings agreed, being a bit of a Disney Parks fan himself, and the display was moved. Initially, the display was made up only from lights from the original display at the Osborne's house, but over the years, it grew and grew. When Lights Motors Action was being built in 2004, it required the demolition of Residential Street, so instead it was moved to New York Street, where it remained until 2016, when New York Street had become the Streets of America, and the Streets of America were soon going to be turned into Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. And on September 11th, 2015, Disney announced that the 2015 season would be the final featuring the Osborne family spectacle of dancing lights. After originally being scheduled to end on January 3rd, 2016, it was extended for an additional 3 nights, and the last performance ever was held on January 6th of 2016. And after the end of the run, Disney donated a majority of the lights to the Give Kids the World Village, where they are now used in the Night of a Million Lights event. So even today, while it may not be in Little Rock or at Hollywood Studios, it still continues to impress children and adults of all ages at the Give Kids the World Village, a very fitting end to the story of the Osborne family spectacle of dancing lights. Now, while the Osborne spectacle of lights is no longer available at Hollywood Studios, you can still get that same sort of feeling, that same immersion by riding Spaceship Earth and during the descent, just looking at all of the lights hanging around you as you go back into the Matrix. It's a great time, and it's year-round, too. You don't even have to wait till Christmas. Everybody, thank you for watching this video. This mug is actually empty. There's nothing in here. I do it to you every year, and you fall for it every year. Everyone, enjoy your holidays. Enjoy your new year. I will see you. I believe we have 1, maybe 2 more videos before the end of the year. I'm going to head to the end card now. But everyone, have a Merry Christmas, have a Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays, whatever it is you celebrate, make it a good one. I will see you all on the 30th. Goodbye. Maybe it actually is down here. Maybe Disney World is down here. Maybe I just lost my way. Oh yeah, here it is. I found it. Hello, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the holiday special, this year's Offhand Disney Holiday Special. If you did, please be sure to hit the like button. And if you're new around here, you want more videos like this, I guess once a year you get videos like this, hit the subscribe button. If you enjoyed those videos of the Osborne lights, there are cards. There should be cards at that point of the video where I show the clip. You can go ahead and click on those. Give the original channel some love, some support. Watch the entirety of the shows because you do not want to miss it. I only showed little clips here and there, but the entire show, both the old ones and the new ones, it's so good. And of course, a very big thank you to all of my supporters over at patreon.com. They are all getting access to an exclusive Patreon video, I believe sometime in the next week, about the future of the Offhand Disney channel in the year 2024, my goals and my aims for the channel. If that sounds interesting to you, just $1 a month will get you access to it and most of the perks. It's like a messaging system and early access to videos, so if that sounds interesting to you, there will be the link down in the description. This video is not sponsored, but just $1. I mean, it gets you access. And of course, last but not least, be sure to follow me on my other social media accounts. I am at Offhand Disney on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. You can find me over there for some exclusive videos on TikTok, some exclusive tweets on Twitter, not calling it the other thing, and I'm also on Threads, same as Instagram, Offhand Disney, for some exclusive photos. That sounds cool. Everybody, that's the end of the end card. Thank you again so much for watching this video. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. I will see you all next week. Same time, same place. Maybe definitely same place, maybe same time. Goodbye.